Hi everyone, it's Miss Brockway, and welcome to a reading lesson with me. I'm really glad you're here today and that you've decided to spend some learning time with me. Let's get started. Today we're going to be discussing the main idea of a story. Now, the main idea of a text is the most important point that the author is making about the subject or the topic. So it's trying to decide what is the author, the person who wrote the story, trying to get the reader to understand about the story. In other words, the main idea is what a text is mostly about. That's really important, so I'm going to say it one more time. The main idea is what a text is mostly about. And there are three different kind of clues that can help you identify the main idea. First is to look at the title and the pictures. The second is to look at the first and last sentence, because sometimes the main idea can be kind of hiding in there. And the third one is to look for clue words repeated over and over again in the story. Now, today we're going to be using the first strategy, and that's looking at the title and the pictures, all right? So the title, we know, can be found on the front cover. It can be found on the title page. And by looking at the title and reading it, that might give us a little clue about what the story is going to be about. Also, looking at the pictures, right? We know that the words in a book match the pictures, right? So if we're looking at the pictures, we might be able to say, oh, that's what the main idea is, all right? So we're going to use that strategy today, looking at the title and the pictures. Now, before we go ahead and jump right into our story and discuss that, we're going to play a little game. Does that sound good? All right. It's called Guess the Main Idea. And we're going to be looking at these groups of objects and deciding what is the main idea about all of them. Where could all of these things be found, right? What do all of these things have in common? Let's look here in this first group. I see some things that look really yummy. What do you think? I think they look really good. Let's figure out what they are. We've got grapes, an apple, a banana. We've got watermelon and an orange. All right. So what is it that all these things have in common together? What kind of group do you think that they belong in? What is the main idea about all of them? You know what I thought of? Fruit, right? All these things are examples of fruit. Apples, bananas, watermelon, oranges, grapes, they're all examples of fruits that we eat. So they're all in the same group, the same category, right? Now, maybe you said food, and that could be another main idea, definitely, right? All these things are examples of foods that we eat. So the main idea of that group could be fruit, or it could be food, right? Great job. Let's go on to the next one. Whoop. Just gave that one away. We'll go over it anyway. We've got a backpack, a school bus, a stack of books, a desk, a ruler, a pencil, and a eraser, right? So what are all those items together represent? What is it that they all have in common, and what is the main idea of them, right? Now, I know I just gave away the answer, but we're gonna try to figure this out together. We're gonna think through it. What is it that all of them have in common together? Where could all these things be found? Well, are all these things food like the other group? Definitely not, right? You can't eat a school bus. You can't eat a desk or your backpack or your stack of books. So that would not be fruit. The main idea would not be fruit, but the main idea would definitely be school, right? Those are all things you could find at a school. Great. Let's go on to the next one. We have two more. In the next group of objects, we've got a fish, a umbrella with sand and a ball, a pail of water or a bucket of water. We've got sand castle and a palm tree. Okay, so where could all of those things be found? What do all those things kind of have in common together? What do you think? You know what I thought of? The beach, right? All those things are things that you could find on about beaches, right? Sand for building sandcastles, a palm tree, the fish you could find. Those are all things that all could be found in one place. So the main idea of all of those objects together would be the beach. All right, so now we have one more. We've got an airplane, a bike, a boat, a helicopter, and a car. What do all those things have in common? When we think of all those things, what is it that could be the main idea of all of them together? What do they all kind of have in common? I'm going to give you 5 seconds of think time on this one to do by yourself. All right, ready? Go. Did you figure it out? All right, let's see if our answers match up. All right, so I said that the main idea of this group of objects could be traveling. All right, so all of these are examples of places or things that you would use to get from one place to the other. You use a car to travel from one place to the next. You use a boat to travel from one place to the next. You use a bike to travel from one place to the next. These are all kinds of transportation or ways that you would travel around. Hey, great job with that. Use your brain. All right, I think we're ready for our story. Now, our story today is titled Spring Weather. All right, and I want you to repeat after me really quick. So, mirrors on, mirror check. I can identify the main idea and details in a story. Mirrors off. All right, so we're going to be looking for the main idea. What is it the story talks a lot about? What is it that the author is trying to get us to take away from the story? And we're going to be looking for details in the story that kind of support our main detail as well. All right. Spring Weather. Spring Weather, written by Katie Knight. The fog comes. The clouds come. The storm comes. The rain comes. The wind comes. The sun comes. The flowers come. The spring comes. We're going to go ahead and read that story one more time. Spring Weather, written by Katie Knight. The fog comes. The clouds come. The storm comes. The rain comes. The wind comes. The sun comes. The flowers come. The spring comes. The end. Wow. All right. So when we think about our story, what is the main idea of the story? What was it that it kept talking about a lot, right? Do you remember at the beginning of this lesson, I had said that we were going to use the strategy of looking at the title, looking at the pictures to figure out what the main idea might be. So let's look at our front cover right now. This says Spring Weather. That's our title. So what do you think that this story, or what do you think that the author was trying to get us to understand by reading the story? Could it be spring weather? Absolutely. So the main idea of the story is spring weather. What are the types of weather that you're going to see in the springtime, right? Hey, great job. Kiss your brain. Now we're going to talk about details. So we're going to kind of shift a little bit from main idea into details. So switch. Now details kind of answer the question of how do you know that this certain thing might be the main idea? How do you know that that is the main idea? So details kind of support your main idea. It kind of tells you more about the topic, right? And now that we know our topic is spring weather, what were some types of spring weather that were discussed in the book? I'll say that again. What were some types of spring weather that were discussed in the book? Do you remember any of them? Let's see if ours match up. One type of spring weather that I remember was the rain. I remember them saying the rain comes, right? It was discussing how rain is part of a spring weather. Another kind of detail that I remember about the spring weather was the thunderstorms, right? The thunder was rolling in. It said the thunder comes, right? That's a type of spring weather that supports our main idea of spring weather. The last one that I thought of was flowers, right? In the story, it said the flowers come, they're blooming. That's a sign that the spring weather is coming. So all of these are details of the story that help support our main idea. Those are the three that I came up with. What were your three types of spring weather that you remember from our story? All right, now we're going to move into our next part of our lesson. We're going to be answering some questions. So make sure you get that hippocampus ready so you can help me recall some facts about this story. So get it ready. Here we go. Question number 1. It says, what does not happen in the springtime? A, storms come, or B, snow starts to fall? What does not happen in the springtime? A, storms come, or B, snow starts to fall? I'll give you 5 seconds to think. All right, were you able to figure it out? What does not happen in the springtime? Snow starts to fall. That's one of the things that does not happen in the springtime. So your answer would be B. All right, let's go on to the next one. Number 2, what is the story mainly about? What is the story mostly about? A, things that happen in the springtime, or B, things that happen after it rains? So what is the story mainly about? A, things that happen in the springtime, B, things that happen after it rains. I'll give you 5 seconds to think. All right. The answer is A, things that happen in the springtime. That is what the story is mostly about. If you said B, great job identifying that raining was one of the details that it talked about in the story, right? But did it talk about things that happen after it rains like all the time? Did it always talk about what happens after it rains? No, it discussed things that happen in the springtime, right? Great job. Let's go on to the next one. Number 3, why did the author write this story? Why do you think the author wrote this story? A, to tell a story just for fun, or B, to give us information? A, to tell us a story maybe with characters and a setting and a plot, or did B, he tell us the story to give information? 5 seconds to think. All right. Why did the author write this story? He wrote it to give us information, right? He was telling us here are the types of weather that happen during the springtime. It rains, it thunderstorms, flowers grow. These are things that happen in the springtime. All right, we have one more. What is another good title for this story? If it didn't have a title and it was your job to think of one, what would the title be? A, Here Comes Spring, or B, Flowers in Spring? There was a lot of information in that book. So let's think about what would a good title be that would match the information given to us in the book. A, Here Comes Spring, or B, Flowers in Spring? I'll give you 5 seconds to think. All right. The answer is A, Here Comes Spring, right? Because It is discussing spring weather, and it's discussing the types of weather that you're going to find in the spring, right? It's talking all about the season of spring. If the book was titled Flowers in Spring, you would expect there to be a lot of information about the different types of flowers, right? But did our story talk only about flowers? No, right? So that's why our title for the book would be Here Comes Spring. Fantastic job. Kiss your brain. All right, we've come to the end of our lesson. So what I want to know now is, what does the spring weather look like today where you live? Here's what I want you to do. Draw a picture of what the spring weather looks like where you are today. And I want you to post it on Paria's Facebook page or on our Instagram page. Can you do that for me? I can't wait to see your pictures. All right, you did a great job today during our lesson. I just wanted to give you a big shout out for using teamwork. So kiss your brain on that. But you know what else we used to complete this lesson? Oh my goodness, we used a lot of grit. We used a lot of stamina. We used a ton of patience. Oh my goodness. And the last one, we used a lot of flexibility. So give yourself a clap and a shine for all the work that you've done. Way to go, Panthers. We'll see you later.